Welcome back to Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles lesson number 31. 31! Alright, let's go back to the text. So we're still reading through part 7, Cause and Effect, part of chapter 2. Okay, so I'm just going to read from where we left off yesterday. Both miracles and fear come from thoughts. If you are not free to choose one, you would also not be free to choose the other. By choosing the miracle, you have rejected fear, if only temporarily. You have been fearful of everyone and everything. You are afraid of God, of me, and of yourself. You have misperceived or miscreated us, and believe in what you have made. You would not have done this if you were not afraid of your own thoughts. The fearful must miscreate, because they misperceive creation. When you miscreate, you are in pain. The cause and effect principle now becomes a real expediter, though only temporarily. Actually, cause is a term properly belonging to God, and his effect is his Son. This entails a set of cause and effect relationships, totally different from those you introduce into miscreation. The fundamental conflict in this world, then, is between creation and miscreation. All fear is implicit in the second, and all love in the first. The conflict is therefore one between love and fear. It has already been said that you believe you cannot control fear because you yourself made it, and your belief in it seems to render it out of your control. Yet any attempt to resolve the error through attempting the mastery of fear is useless. In fact, it asserts the power of fear by the very assumption that it need be mastered. The true resolution rests entirely on mastery through love. In the interim, however, the sense of conflict is inevitable, since you have placed yourself in a position where you believe in the power of what does not exist. Nothing and everything cannot coexist. To believe in one is to deny the other. Fear is really nothing, and love is everything. Whenever light enters darkness, the darkness is abolished. What you believe is true for you. In this sense, the separation has occurred, and to deny it is merely to use denial inappropriately. However, to concentrate on error is only a further error. The initial corrective procedure is to recognize temporarily that there is a problem, but only as an indication that immediate correction is needed. This establishes a state of mind in which the atonement can be accepted without delay. It should be emphasized, however, that ultimately no compromise is possible between everything and nothing. Time is essentially a device by which all compromise in this respect can be given up. We'll finish that rest of that part 7 off tomorrow. Let's move to our lesson 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. Today's idea is the introduction to your declaration of release. Again, the idea should be applied to both the world you see without and the world you see within. In applying the idea, we will use a form of practice which will be used more and more, with changes as indicated. Generally speaking, the form includes two aspects. One in which you apply the idea on a more sustained basis, and the other consisting of frequent applications of the idea throughout the day. 2 longer practice periods with the idea for today are needed, one in the morning and one at night. 3 to 5 minutes for each of these are recommended. During that time, look about you slowly while repeating the idea 2 or 3 times. Then close your eyes and apply the same idea to your inner world. You will escape from both together, for the inner is the cause of the outer. As you survey your inner world, merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness, each to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next. Try not to establish any kind of hierarchy among them. Watch them come and go as dispassionately as possible. Do not dwell on any one in particular, but try to let the stream move on evenly and calmly, without any special investment on your part. As you sit and quietly watch your thoughts, repeat today's idea to yourself as often as you care to, but with no sense of hurry. In addition, repeat the idea for today as often as possible during the day. Remind yourself that you are making a declaration of independence in the name of your own freedom. And in your freedom lies the freedom of the world. The idea for today is also a particularly useful one to use as a response to any form of temptation that may arise. It is a declaration that you will not yield to it and put yourself in bondage. So that's lesson 31, guys. Let us go on to our Jesus commentary for lesson 31. I am not the victim of the world I see. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. This is a lesson I taught to my disciples while on the cross. That is what I was teaching them, that I am not a victim of the world as you see it. In that great lesson, that great teaching, learning opportunity, many of those beings who followed me could not assimilate the lesson. They could not believe that I was not being victimized, that I was not suffering. I was standing firm in my elevated consciousness above the battleground. And I knew, even though it was a great challenge, a great act of discipline on my part, that I did not need to suffer. My mind could assess the situation accurately and choose to move through that experience without the pain, suffering, and despair of the martyr. That is not what I was doing, and that is why it has been so hard for you to understand in your society. It was an extremely sophisticated lesson for the beings who were in front of me. This lesson was not designed for the world, necessarily, although it has become so. In the time and place when I was in the physical incarnation that you know as Jesus, I was teaching my students. I taught them and showed them my abilities to overcome the physical, material world, and that, indeed, I was not being victimized. I chose to go through a very dramatic teaching learning experience for their benefit. However, only a couple of those disciples integrated that information into their minds. But that is okay. One mind changed is enough. One mind healed is enough. One mind in alignment with truth is more powerful than 10,000 minds in fear, cowering in the corner, afraid to stand up and be counted. Do not allow yourself to be victimized by your beliefs. You are not a victim of the world you see. It is a reflection of your consciousness, rushing toward you in order for you to understand what is going on inside of you. If it seems to attack you, look where you attack yourself or others. Examine where you attack principles, ideas, politicians, countries, creeds, or money. Whatever you attack, know that it will reflect back to you in a world that seems to attack you. We heal your mind from the deepest levels with these teachings, and we want you to know that it brings great love to you. Many of you feel that now, a month into this gathering together. You are going to see that you are not so quick to judge or attack, that perhaps you open a door for someone when before you would have charged through. Perhaps you find yourself sitting quietly contemplating ideas because you have decided to give yourself space to do the lessons. And after the lessons, you enjoy sitting in your armchair with the radio, phone, and television off. You find that being with yourself is much more agreeable because the mind you are experiencing has calmed down a little bit. It is not so fractious. We love you very much, and we will be here with you every single day. Every day we nudge this being, and she knows this is her assignment this year. So do not despair. If you miss a lesson, do your forgiveness practice and make it up as soon as you can. We will speak to you again tomorrow. Namaste, dearest ones. Much love.